What's happening, guys? It's Baz Nagpal for iGyaan.in, and whilst I take away this coffee cup, that's fantastic coffee. So this is the new LG G Pro 2. We saw the LG G Pro last year. It's a fantastic device, but this year around, I think the LG G Pro 2 is slightly late because of the kind of specifications we have on this device. Now, if my camera decides to focus, and it did, we have the Qualcomm Snapdragon chipset over here. They've been very sly. They've not told you what chipset it is. It's the Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 as opposed to the 801 we've seen on various devices. We have a 2.26 gigahertz quad-core CPU, and we have 3 GB of RAM. As you can see over here, we possibly and almost 100% surety-based deductions of my brain tell me that this has the Adreno 330 GPU. Also the fact that I've seen this phone before, but that doesn't really count. But the fact that you have a full HD display over here, it says full HD IPS display, and we have zero gap touch. That means that it's basically one glass. So the display and the touchscreen are together. So if one thing breaks, it's going to be an expensive replacement for you guys. So it could be good, it can be horribly bad. It has a 13 megapixel camera, optical image stabilization, which is fantastic. We saw it work really well on the G2. So this is the G Pro 2. Of course, it's going to have optical image stabilization. It says time machine camera. It's actually time lapse capability. It looks like translations have been made by a very Chinese friend of mine. Going into multimedia, it says it can play blah blah, all of this. I'm not interested in that. It has a 1-watt speaker, which is actually pretty loud for devices, actually pretty loud for phones. I mean, 1 watt doesn't sound that great if you compare it to speakers, but it's pretty good. You have a 3200 milliamp hour battery, Miracast, slim port, functions include mini view, guest mode, etc. I really don't care, and I don't think you guys care either. So we have an important note here. This product is compatible with all Indian 3G and 2G networks, plus 4G networks operating at 1800 megahertz. So yes, it'll work in India on 4G networks. Thank you, LG, for that. This is the only other device after the HTC M8 that'll run, oh, no battery. So this is the only device after HTC One M8 that'll run 4G in India. So that's the device. I'm gonna get rid of that. Why should I get rid of that? I'll put it to the side, I'll go further in. I'll just have another sip of my coffee. I'm going to put my coffee to the side a little bit so I can show you what else is inside. So you get documentation, you get a LG charger, not so fancy looking. You have the USB to micro USB cable. You have LG Quad Beat 2 earphones. We've seen these in the past, pretty good. And we have this mammoth size battery, the 3200 milliamp hour battery, which not only is large in capacity, but is also pretty large in size. It's also quite hefty and heavy. Yeah, 3200 milliamp hour, 3.8 volt, lithium ion. That's the battery. I'm going to put it to the side. I'm going to put everything to the side, except the battery, of course, because I'm going to take a look at the phone now. Zoom in to the phone. Okay, so this is the device. As you guys can see over here, we have a 5.9 inch, which is mammoth. We have a 5.9 inch LCD display, which is a full HD display. It is on the little plastic thingy over here. I'm going to try and get rid of this as well. There's no tab to pull out this. Strange. So they want you to use the phone with this plastic on there. It's quite irritating, actually. Ooh, finally got rid of that. So you can see, very nice and large display. The device is quite slim, actually. It feels really slim in the hand. Oh, look, more plastic. Let's save the environment today. We'll add more plastic to the phone, which is already made of plastic. So the texture you possibly see these lines that appear, that's because of the camera trying to focus onto this guy. There's actually no texture. I'll try and show you. Of course, there's texture in there, but there's like small dots and not these lines that you guys possibly see. It's just a dotted texture that is like symmetrical, not these lines that you see. But anyway, this is the camera at the back. You can see that just like the LG G2, we have the button over here. It's actually like the LG G Flex. I'm going to do a comparison with that device really soon. So I'm going to try and get rid of the back panel. This device is actually, it feels really slim in the hand. I'm going to pop in the battery and I'm going to try and power this guy on. And whilst it's powering on, I'm going to show you what all this device can actually do. Come on. Okay. So it's powering on. So let's talk about the specifications while it powers on. So we have a 5.9-inch Full HD display over here. You have the LG logo at the bottom over here. And you have the earpiece along with a front-facing camera. On the right side, we have absolutely nothing, just a small tab to pull out the back cover over here. On the top is where we have what appears to be an infrared port. That's correct. So we have an infrared port on the top along with a 3.5mm headphone jack and a small pinhole for the microphone. Nothing on the left, just like the G2. On the bottom, you have the micro USB charging data syncing port and the main microphone pinhole. On the back is a 13 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization. You have the volume. Okay, I'm pressing things. Let's not do that. Let's turn the screen off. Okay, so on the back you can see that this also has a blinking light in the button. You have the 13 megapixel camera with autofocus and optical image stabilization. You have the LED flash over here, the volume rockers and the main power button. You can see that it supports 4G LTE in India. You have the nice LG logo at the bottom, the speakerphone over here. So that's mostly what the device is. If I turn it on, I'm going to quickly run through this setup. So it says that I got Google. Yes, I do. I'm sick of all these reflections. No, I don't want to back up my device. Yes, you can use my location. Yeah, you can keep me up to date. You can also set the knock code just like you could on those L90 and L70 devices. I'm just going to run through this real quick. They have these crazy agreements. Like everyone's trying to like sue them or something. So, yeah. Yep, accept. Finally, this is what the home screen looks like. Now this display is bright and beautiful, even though I've cut down the brightness so that you guys can see it properly on camera. But this display is crazy bright on half the brightness, and then you can see those life's good ringtones that tell me about the notifications. So now you can see this notification panel, very typical LG-esque, but the screen is nice. And despite the fact that the screen is quite large, I think that it will be easily usable with one hand, and I'm sure they have those one-handed controls in this guy as well, which I can probably set up from the settings panel. But before I get into any of that, I'm going to try and jump into settings real quick and go into general, about phone, software information. It's running KitKat out of the box, so thank you for that, LG. And I'll also see that it's possibly running the latest kernel as well. It doesn't tell me what month it is. There are 2 updates for software, for applications. Check for update. So clearly we are using the latest version available from LG, but there are 2 app updates. I'll keep downloading my Google Plus applications in the background over there. Let me dim the brightness a little bit so that you guys can see the screen a lot better. Like I said, the screen is absolutely crazy bright and viewing angles are fantastic. That's thanks to it being an IPS display by LG. Yeah, so keyboard is fairly nice and easy to tap on. You can go into your contacts. From here, favorites, groups. And let's see if I can go into messaging. Go into create a new message. So right now it's not giving me continuous input, so maybe I need to jump into settings and get like continuous input somehow. So many options. Hey, hang on. I don't see any continuous input sort of settings. So apparently this does not have continuous input settings. I can change the theme to something colorful. Lovely theme. I don't see it, guys. I honestly don't see it. So maybe it's somewhere. Well, it's not here, so I don't know why there is no continuous input. I've seen it on other devices. Well, it's not on here. Now you get this fancy large keyboard if you want to type in landscape. I don't know. I have not seen people type in landscape in a very long time. Double tap to turn off the screen is what LG is telling me. So double tap to turn it on again. And then I can scroll or swipe. So there are tips on how to use a Android phone. So you can pinch in, you get all your dashboards. You can quickly jump, or you can scroll like a normal human being. You can pinch in. I saw this big, do you know? Yes, you must charge me for data. Do you know? What do I know? Oh, so that gives you features for the phone, which is great actually. So I don't have to do a lot of effort with this. So you get a 2.26 gigahertz quad core processor. You have 3200 milliamp hour battery. What that does is, I don't know. So then it'll open up probably an app or something. It also says content lock, hi-fi sound, dual browser. So you have split view as well and mini view as well. So I really don't know how to initiate that. Can we? So you do get a nice task manager over here. It lets you end applications, something like what Samsung does. You also have, if you hold down the back button, you get this dual window support, I think. And then I can run dual browsers, I believe. So if I do that, yeah, now that's how I run dual browsers. So if I hold down on the back button, I can pick and drop apps into different windows. So you get two simultaneous applications. Although I dropped it on the above side or the top area and it brought it into the bottom area. If you hold down on the home button, it lets you quit running applications. And I believe if you hold down on the menu button, it does absolutely nothing. Double clicking, back button. How do I bring up Google now? So if you can hold down and scroll upwards, hold down on the home button, scroll upwards, you get Google now, and you also get something related to voice. Come on. So you get the LG VoiceMate as well, so I can start that. What is the weather like in New Delhi? Okay, let's try another one. How much is $1 US in Indian rupees?
Searching the web for how much is $1 US in Indian rupees.
Well, Google now works better than this, I think. If I wanted to do that, I could just I can enable Google now real quick. And then, how much is $1 US in Indian rupees? Maybe that was too fast.
$1 US equals 58.76 Indian rupees.
So yeah, I don't think anyone will be using LG's Talking Mate, but you have that option. Of course, you have that quick window feature that lets you scribble. Quick memo, sorry. It lets you scribble on your screen, save it as a screenshot if you want to do that. You also have a couple of quick launch applications that you can launch, mini apps or Q-slide apps as LG likes to call them. Of course, you can resize them. You can change the brightness on these guys. And you can launch a bunch of applications that can run in front of each other on behind one another. So I can choose which one I want, move them around, etc., etc. So this is my calculator, this is my file manager. I don't think anyone's ever used them. If they have, then fantastic. They can be really useful for people. Now the device is fairly slim, like I said, very, very responsive. Now you're running Qualcomm Snapdragon 800. Last thing I'm going to do, actually one of the few last things that I'm going to do, I'm going to load up iGyaan in landscape. So that's what the website looks like. Blah, 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 blah. Must check out the Motorola Moto E review, guys. I think it's one of the best phones that have come out in this country for a very long time. So that's the Motorola Moto E. Scrolling, panning seems to be really smooth. Just switch from portrait into landscape. Pinching in is also very, very smooth, so no complaints with that. Panning around is smooth as well. Yes, 2-finger swipe. I don't know what happened. 2-finger swipe is faster swipe. So page, top of the page to the bottom of the page. Single pan. Fairly smooth. Browser's very fast. And seems to work really well. Great. That's the browser. I'm going to come back out. I'm going to load up something on YouTube. HTC has been at the forefront of the smartphone race from the beginning. They were also the early adopters and significant leaders when it came to Android. The first Android phone was built by HTC, and they continued to bring in quite a lot of devices. Unfortunately for HTC, they saw a big downfall in their popularity because people chose... I don't know if you guys saw that, but viewing angles are fantastic, but the speakerphone is over here. It's fairly loud. It's pretty loud actually, but you can easily muffle it because if I'm holding the device like this, my finger actually lands exactly on where the speaker is. So if I'm holding the device like this, the speaker is dead or dies out because of the way I'm holding the device. Maybe I should change the way I hold my device, or LG should consider people with big hands like mine. Now, not a lot of applications over here. Of course, you get LG Smart World. You have a voice recorder, weather application, LiveSquare application. You have the remote call service, and of course the quick remote to utilize the inbuilt infrared blaster. And that's about it for this device. As far as we're concerned, that's mostly all the applications. Of course, you have the memo, you have cell broadcast, random applications. Of course, you get box storage free with the LG G Pro 2, and you have Polaris viewer, notebook, etc. What I need to know is, if you can actually delete the preloaded applications. So let's see if I'm here and there are some applications like, if I don't want box, I can uninstall it, but does it uninstall the whole box application, or it uninstalls just the update that it just downloaded? Well, it removes box, which is fantastic. So in case some of the applications that you don't like are on this device, you can get rid of them, which is fantastic, which is absolutely fabulous. So there was a quick look at the new LG G Pro 2. Of course, we'll be doing a full set of videos for this guy, so stay tuned for those. I'm gonna get rid of the plastic. And if you have any questions, queries, do drop them so that we can cover it up in our videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching.